I
actually
think yours
cool.
look great, right? Like, I
Yeah,
think we both got style going on. It's
maybe
working.
those glasses were the ones that's why I got punched. They look too cool.
Yeah.
That was literally my face as
Sidebar,
I
have you
pulled.
started recording?
Oh yes, I do. I
Oh,
did. Yeah.
awesome. Good, good, good. Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody.
Welcome.
It's on this Sunday night, an emergency episode, I would say.
Yes, yes. A bit of an emergency episode. Mistakes were made. Schedules were butchered. It was a bad
Yeah,
time.
these ones happen, but it will come on Monday. I promise. I'll do my I'll do my best on that. So hopefully you're listening to that on this Sunday.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, how
Okay,
was
wait.
your week? What?
Well, before we do my week, I just want to know, because even I don't know, what is our release schedule nowadays and like our recordings?
Uh, it comes on Monday and we record on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, so that gives you like a full week to like edit it, right? Is that the point?
Yes,
Okay.
especially if we want to have
Hmm.
like snippets to post to kind of
Okay,
advertise.
so yeah, you're doing basically
It's
all the editing these days. Um, if you
yeah,
want, you can show me how you do that so I can do it too. So you don't have to do it
it's
all the time because I have a lot more time on my hands. But,
it's extremely easy.
you
Like
know,
you've done videos, Adobe Premiere Pro. You just drop the
yeah.
two video file. You just put them side by side. You put the title, and that's it. That's actually all of it.
Okay.
Yet,
Yeah, you need to show me your
definitely,
formatting.
yeah, definitely. If we do both edited, because one of the thing I wanted to do is like, for example, when we talk about things, I wanted some pictures to appear to illustrate our points, right?
Ah, yeah.
Or like when we're
Yeah,
talking about,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, if we record
if
like if we upload to YouTube or something. I saw that you're putting the video on Spotify too.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
nice. That's quality of life improvement. Very good.
yeah, man. But that's
Yeah.
it. So,
Okay.
how was your week?
Uh, oof. A little bit messy, but going pretty okay. Um, I went to my sister's husband. He had his birthday celebration this Friday, so
Uh
happy
huh.
birthday to him. But also, it was just kind of a rough day for him. Like
Oh,
even though we were celebrating his birthday later that day, like there was a bunch of stuff going on at his workplace that was like kind of once in a lifetime stuff going wrong,
he
like
didn't get fired, right?
no, 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 no,
Okay,
no, but
that would be a
just
very
like
sad birthday.
yeah, there was some not so great stuff going on that he had to address, and he's like in a leadership position, so he has to like when something bad happens, he has to like get on it, and
Before
so
it
it
gets to
was
the
very
press, I guess.
unexpected, not great, and it made things a little tough, I think. So I hope that he
Yeah,
gets some time and space later to, properly relax a little bit, or get something
yeah,
out of that. But yeah, I mean, we
yeah.
still had a good time. Like we went over to their place. We watched one of the original Batman animated series, like
Is
things
this
like
one of
that.
the goofy one, like, or like?
No, I would say it's a more serious one. Hang on, let me. I'm so poorly versed with superhero things. I'm searching it up right now. Let's see. Is it this? Oh, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's just called Batman the Animated Series. Period. But it's a
Batman.
like a 1992 thing. Hang on.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I see. It's just a shadow.
Yeah.
Gosh, 4 seasons.
Yeah. hmm But we
Oh, I know that
watched.
Joker. Oh yeah, yeah. There were a lot of memes
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah, we watched a couple episodes from season 2 and Mask of the Phantasm, which is like the movie. that happened between season 1 and
Ah,
2, I think. Don't quote me on any of this because I am not at all the expert. I was just along for the ride, but it was nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I see.
Um, so that was like my Friday. Um, let's see. What else did I do? Oh yeah. Today I went out and I got some stuff to fix my rear view mirror, which fell off of my car. Um,
It had a problem,
and
right? Like I remember when we drove to Tramontina, it was kind of broken.
well, no, like, oh no, that's a different rear view mirror.
Oh my god, that's the
so,
two of them.
so okay, you're thinking of the driver's side mirror in my car. Um, that one is like the plastic case outside of it has basically like snapped and is sort of on the car but not entirely. And what I have available to me in my truck at all times to fix these kinds of problems is an obscene amount of bungee cord and a bunch of duct tape. So what I did was I just wrapped a bungee cord around it and called it a day.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
still how it is. It's been like 3 months or something, um,
Wow.
and it's doing fine. Um, this is a different problem. When I was on the design tours that were happening in Dallas, so UH set up with a bunch of design firms around Dallas a tour to just go around and make connections and have these professionals talk about what they do for a living and stuff. Um, and I went on that. And so the first firm we went to, Point Innovation, um, my rear view mirror that's mounted on my window inside of my car in between the seats, uh, that was still on my window when I walked in. When I came out, it was not on my window.
What
uh,
the?
it was dangling by the power cable above my dashboard.
Yo,
So I
you
unplugged
think
it
somebody
from its
knocked it?
power cable. No,
That is.
I think the Texas heat literally like burned the adhesive off after 20
Oh my.
years of degradation. So um, I still had two firms to go to that day. So what I did was my age-old solution, bungee cord and duct tape, um, and that held it up temporarily. But the
Yeah.
sun burned off the adhesive on the duct tape in like 3 hours.
Oh
So
my god.
there's like a duct tape adhesive residue on the inside of my windshield where I
Ooh.
taped it. Um, and afterwards, I didn't go to like AutoZone or anything. I didn't know what to do because this has never happened to me before. And it's like a once in every car's lifetime problem, you know?
Yeah, right.
So I didn't bother
Wow.
going to get a like a repair kit or anything at that time. Went back home, figured out what to do. Didn't do anything about it for like 2 weeks. I went somewhere today just to like meet with a friend, and uh, I still hadn't fixed it. So I kept what happened was every time I had to go out, I would get duct tape and I would re-tape it to the exact same spot on the windshield. Well, I've done that enough times to where there's like an actual like there's so much of that
Yeah.
adhesive residue on there that it doesn't want to tape to that anymore because it's all just melted. It's like a semi-solid that prevents new adhesive from actually adhering to anything.
Oh no.
So well, I had to come up with a new solution that relies way more heavily on the bungee cord, which I only had two of them, and they were that long each. So,
Oh,
hang on. Actually, I have my rear view mirror right here.
oh my
Um,
god, he does have a
so
rear view mirror.
yeah,
Ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen.
There we go. This is the item in question. Um,
Evidence one.
yeah. I also have the bungee cord actually.
Evidence
These
two.
things. Yeah. So these are the two bungee cords I was using, and what I did was I wrapped it around this tab at the bottom here and then up to this point here so that it kind of balanced the center of gravity of the thing between
Okay.
the bungee cords. And then the two bungee cords went off to either side and hung on the sun visors. It's really hard to
Uh,
illustrate, but that's what I
yeah.
did. And then I took this little point right here, put duct tape on that, and stuck it to the ceiling of my car, and that held it in place well enough. It was like bouncing around a little bit because of the bungee cord, but it was holding, and it held for like a 20-minute drive down 635 and back. So, good time. Um,
Wow.
yeah. I went and I got an actual repair kit so I can do this properly and not have to keep being pseudo MacGyver,
Yeah.
you know, improvise, man. It's not going to be so rough anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, if this ever happens to you, literally look up rear view mirror repair kit. You're done.
I'll be so dead if something. I mean, I still have to get a car.
Yeah.
That'll be one thing.
I mean, the great thing about my car is that I drive a Chevy S10, a 1999 one. And so it's literally one bench seat, and that's it. The entire cab is enclosed around this bench seat. So whenever I need to look behind me, I hardly even use my mirrors because I can just like look to the left or
Yeah,
right.
turn your
And
head.
the window's like right there, and there's no
Yeah.
obstructions. So I have an amazing view in all directions from inside my truck. And my truck is kind of a small truck too. Like they don't make
Yeah.
them as small as mine. So not anymore. So
Yeah.
I have very good maneuverability. I'm like a normal sedan, but I have awesome visibility. So
Yeah.
good time.
Good time.
Good time. Good
Well,
time. Yeah.
I am not recording in a closet because my closet is getting ready because
Oh.
I got moved out
Yay!
on
Wait, what?
on
Oh.
Friday. I received the unfortunate news that they were going to transfer unit.
Oh.
So
What does that
yeah, I like
mean?
my apartment. Like I loved it because I'm alone in a four-bedroom and I'm the only person living there. Of
Yeah.
course, the electricity bill is expensive because I'm the only one paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a big living room and a big kitchen, all for me, for
You
like three
did.
years, almost 3 years. And I liked it. And then they informed me like, hey, we're gonna move you to that other unit on the third floor of your building, and you're gonna be with other people. So I was very sad about it. Immediately when I heard
Oh.
about it, I went outside and it had a balcony, so I just went to see like outside like where I am. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of see the balcony. It was a bigger balcony, which I was kind of excited about it, but also like I was like, you know what? I'll try to like it. Like I told my friend, and they were like, maybe you're gonna like your roommates. Maybe you're gonna like your
Mm.
new roommate.
Yeah.
Sunday comes around. It's a time to move out. I went to the leasing office this morning and I
Mm-hmm.
took the keys to the new apartment and I moved. I first of all, I just went in the room, like in the new apartment to see, right?
Yeah.
Before starting moving my stuff. I opened the door and I believe animals were living there before
Oh
me,
no.
like a bunch of
Okay.
animals. It
Yeah.
was not human. It was not like the level of dirtiness in that apartment was not human. I do not
Oh my
believe
goodness.
human beings were living there. There were like spider webs, but like literally mold growing on the wall. Like that's the first thing. Like
Mm.
the vent of the AC, there is mold growing in it.
Yeah.
And I hear voices, and I walk in the kitchen. I look at the sink, and there is rice in the sink. The sink is filled with rice, with cooked rice. Yes.
Oh dear.
I don't know if the animals that were living there were eating out of the sink. I'm not sure.
Wait, they were cooking rice in the sink?
There was cooked rice in the sink. The sink was filled with cooked rice.
What?
This is,
Okay.
you heard
All
right. I'm
right.
literally.
I guess they're
So
pragmatists.
I'm like, I'm gonna hate those roommates. I know that already.
Mm,
And I'm gonna stay in my room all the time or go out all the time. Like it's gonna be the life.
yeah.
The floor was sticky. The floor was so dirty that it was sticky, sticking to my shoes.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, where is my room? I hear voices in one room. I hear like two girls, one man, or whatever animals were living
That's a
there.
bad
People,
vibe right off the bat.
yes, and a bunch of beers in the living room. I know they like to party. They love partying at night.
Yep.
So I go
Hey,
in my
you like
room.
to party in your own special way.
Yes, I do. But you know what? I clean after I party.
Oh
That's one
yeah.
thing I do immediately after I party is that I clean and I
That's mostly
require
referring to
my
the kind of work you do at like 4 in the morning.
yeah. I mean, when I have friends over, I require them to throw the trash in the. I require to throw the trash before they leave.
As you
So
should.
I open the room I'm supposed to stay in. It's a dark room. I open
Mm.
it and there are clothes on the floor. And again, mold growing kind of everywhere. A little window so that I can go insane. And I walk in the bathroom and there are cigars in the sink.
Oh, you
Cigars
poor man.
in the sink.
Yeah.
So when I see that, I'm like, I cannot live here.
Yeah.
So I go down to the leasing office and I'm like, is there any way on earth you could clean that apartment before I move in? And
Hang
I
on.
describe to them what
I just want to ask, do you have to move there? Like is it a totally forcible, non-negotiable you get moved to this place kind of deal?
I would say yes because I signed a new lease,
Mhm.
and on that new lease, they got bought by another firm where I'm at, and this
Yeah.
firm was like
I mean,
everybody reapplies to live here.
you could always double check. And here's the
Yes,
thing.
but
If you don't double check, you may be missing out on getting a much better living space that I don't know, squeaky wheel gets a grease, right? Like
oh
uh,
yes, see behind me, I am not
yeah.
where I was supposed to be. So I go,
Okay, okay. Good. So it's
I
already
went there.
sorted. All
I
right. All
went
right.
there. I
Yeah.
described what I saw, and we were like, "Okay, we're gonna actually move you to a better unit. You're still
Nice.
going to move, but we're gonna move you to somewhere where it's actually got clean."
Yeah.
And they moved me on the fourth floor of the first building, the building that they actually care about, because the building I was
Nice.
living in had like freaking wasp nest. Like this building is nice.
Oh
Like this
boy.
building is like where they put new people. It has a pool. I see people swimming. I walk in the hallway and I see people like walking. I'm like, oh, this place is like I thought for 3 years I was the only one living where I'm at. I was like, I never see anybody in the hallways.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice. And yeah, I got moved where I'm here now, and I'm kind of still moving my stuff, like transferring my stuff because I'm all by myself. I don't have a chariot or like anything to kind of. So I kind of move in two suitcases, like just filling with my stuff, going because I was on the fourth floor of my first building. So go
Mhm.
to fourth floor of the first building, my old apartment, take my stuff, come down, and move to the other building and go to the fourth floor again of here. And yeah, it's been that man. They so yeah. Sometimes you just I could not have lived. I was not ready to have roommates.
Mm.
I don't think I would ever be ready to have roommates again. After what I saw, I had hope.
Yeah. I
Like
okay,
you,
it depends on who your roommates are, right? Like if you
okay.
get to choose your roommates, like if you could room with someone from studio, it may not be so bad. But like the
I
problem
don't.
is you don't ever have that choice, because no one lives in the complex you live in. But those people do exist. Like
I
good
don't
roommates
care.
are possible. It's just if it's luck of the draw, and you're in the wrong place, I mean,
Next person that's going to be my roommate is gonna be called wife. I don't care.
yeah,
I
okay,
literally had the smallest hope I had. I was like, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna dislike those roommates. I know what's gonna happen. I literally go down and it's worse than what I had imagined. Like it's like worse. Not even
or
better, not even like equally worse than the roommate I used to have. I'm like, it's worse. Like there is literal mold growing in this apartment. And human beings are living here right now. I did not even interact with them. Like when I left and I closed that door, I closed it hard so they knew that somebody came in.
hmm.
They will never know.
Yeah, sidebar, I love that you were able to just walk in and they didn't even notice until you left.
Yeah, they were all
That's
in the
funny.
same room chatting.
Hmm.
And for a moment, I was like, maybe I should knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm your new roommate. And I'm like, I'm not going to live with them. I don't want to see their faces.
You were
I
tested
already
there.
know. Yeah, there is cooked rice in the sink. You are clearly not humans.
If there
Like,
were
I'm
ever a
sorry.
chance for Cadmiel to commit a homicide, that was it.
Oh, I would have killed them. I would have had to kill them. No, I'm not kidding. Like, if this is gonna be how we live together, I can't.
Oh
And if
boy.
I have to, it's gonna be fight or flight. Like,
Did you
somebody gotta go.
actually did you actually see the people?
No,
Okay, it would be funny if you walked in and one of them was the guy that punched you a couple days ago.
I will fucking kill you. No, the person that punched me clearly did not have a house. He did not look like someone that
I
had an actual
mean,
house.
I don't know, Cadmiel. Your bar was pretty low before, and we've proven that it can be lower.
No, sir. Oh my god. Talking about that punch, that really put things into perspective.
Yeah. Did we talk about that on the podcast? You
We
getting punched in
haven't.
the face? Are we serious?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
please talk about that right now.
All
That
right,
if
sir.
we're gonna talk about anything today, we have to talk about that.
We have to address the punch.
Yes, the
Guys,
punch.
I am Chris Rock right now. I don't know if you noticed. I am Chris Rock and Will Smith slapped me. If you thought Chris Rock was something, it's not. Guys, I had a nice lunch with a friend of mine. It was nice. We had a great time. We
Mhm.
said goodbye. And it was in downtown Houston. And I'm just leaving. I'm just walking to the train station. And I am literally going to say, like, from my perspective, before, like literally, this is how it works. I am
Okay.
walking, broad daylight, downtown. I'm walking to the train station. I reach like the intersection, like to cross the road,
Yeah.
and somebody is standing beside me. Somebody was walking beside me. Nothing extremely unusual about that person. It was just somebody walking beside me.
Yeah.
We come to this light. We come to the light, and without me noticing it, like for a blink second, I turn to the left, and this person punches me in the face and starts running. And the cars that were there like stopped for a moment. There were people ready to cross. Like there was a woman ready to cross. Like she's like, I'm not crossing the road. And this dude starts running, and I'm looking at him running. Like he runs, and he looks behind, like thinking I was gonna run at him, and I'm like, what even happened? And like I was under the shock. Like I was just like, so I did not even interact with it. I was like,
Yeah. Like
I'm just gonna go to the train station.
1 minute it's a completely normal day. You're walking across the station platform, and the next minute you just got socked in the jaw and the guy's bolting. You know,
Yeah,
like you have
somebody
no
ran.
time to interpret that. It's just 1 minute you're fine, and the next minute you're in pain. Right?
Like a random human being punched me for no reason. And
Yeah.
it's only when I sat in the metro and I started thinking, like, did I just get punched randomly by somebody? Like, what even happened? And I'm like starting to think back. I'm like, what was that? And I go back and I'm like, this person was walking right beside me on my left.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of walking at the same pace, which when I think back at it, I'm like, I noticed that. Like
Yeah.
that, I remember this person was kind of walking at the same pace as me. But I'm like, okay, that we're walking at the same pace. It's kind of a slow alert. Like your brain doesn't panic about it.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody's walking at the same pace as me right beside me. And then he punches me. And I'm like trying to imagine like what went through his head. Like, is this my fault? Is like whose fault is that?
Yeah.
I
What
was
did I
trying
do? Right.
Nick, I was trying to defend that person. I was like, it there is you cannot tell me that there is no reason. He did not just punch me for no reason. Did I do something? Was that I looked so swag with my sunglasses? Like he thought I was being like, I don't know.
Oh.
Did,
Huh.
did
Yeah.
that
What were
remind
you
you of?
wearing at the time?
I was nice. I was looking kind of nice. Like I went on a nice lunch. I was looking kind
Yeah.
of nice, looking
Okay.
kind of like.
You,
But then like, well,
sunglasses that you're wearing right
yeah,
now.
yeah, the sunglasses I'm wearing
Yeah.
right now and my headphones. I
Okay.
was just in the
Yeah.
zone, right? And like I'm
Mm.
like, did I remind you of your dad that didn't love you? Did I like what was the cause of this? And I'm
Yeah.
like, there is no the more I think about it, there is no cause. Like
Do
there
you
is no reason.
know? Do you know where he went? Like, where
I
did he
don't.
start running to? Was he like
He
running for
started
the
he
woods or?
crossed the road like running, like he
Yeah.
literally crossed the road running. He
Okay.
went on the other side and started. I was going like straight, and he turned right and kept running in that direction and kept like
Okay.
looking back at me.
Well, like,
And
was he? This was at the station by your apartment, right?
no, 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 it was in downtown Houston.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
So there's no real landmark there. It's just like
oh yeah,
Central City, right?
yes, yes. It
Mm,
was like
okay.
midtown, yeah.
Yeah,
And
because I thought this happened like by your apartment where there's like some woods and
oh, I
like
wouldn't be surprised.
a railroad track
Apparently,
and
some
some
people
other
got
stuff.
shot
Yeah.
here sometimes. I guess. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It happened.
Yeah. I mean, people get shot in Houston all over
Oh
the
my
place.
god! But yeah, like
Even on campus. We've had people get
I know,
shot on
right?
campus
I
this
know.
this past year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Maybe the pandemic. Like I don't know. Like I'm trying.
The pandemic.
Yeah, I know when
Yeah.
we talked about it, we were like, so this country has like there is a serious mental health issue in this country, and like you see all these videos of people like getting on plane and getting aggressive, and they have to kick them out. Like people have been super aggressive toward each other, and like it used to be on Twitter for me. Like I would see that on social media, and now I'm get to be a part of it. Somebody just punched
Yeah.
me for no reason.
Yeah.
So
You know, I'm worried about that guy. Do you think that'll be the last time he punches someone in the face?
if there is he did it for no reason, I bet he's doing it right now. That's something he does. Like
Mm.
I bet he ran and he stopped at another light and just punched somebody else. Like I it it was so short of an interaction. I do not know the past of that person, and I cannot predict the future. I
Yeah.
just but like like I don't want to fall on like because obviously there are this person looked I guess like that somebody that did not own it living in the house like a homeless person. He definitely like was like not well dressed, like dirty clothes, and maybe not well in their minds. And I've met a lot of people
Yeah.
like that in my life, and none of them touched me. It's the first time it happened. So like I've been trying like not to frame it as like, oh, I'm gonna meet a homeless person and they are going to punch me. But if anything, it made me kind of more anxious when I walk out
Yeah.
now.
Because like here's another thing that could have been we were talking earlier, that could have been so much worse, right? Like
Yes.
the guy could have come up with a knife and just stabbed you, and that would have
Ye-
been like a life or
yes.
death thing, you know, right
Yes.
away. Or like again, it could have been a gun, but like honestly, it'd probably be a knife, knowing how you describe the guy. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
And
so
like,
many ways that could have gone worse, or like he could have stuck around and tried to fight you more, and that
yes,
would have been horrible, right?
that's right. No, like you're right. Like, I'm
Yeah,
so happy for what it was that it was a punch
yeah,
because I again like I think about it and like was I not careful? And I'm like, no, like I am careful. Like, if I walk out of like from studio to like my place, like I'm careful, I look around. It was broad daylight. There were people, there were cars, and I was as careful, like there were no indication that someone was literally going to punch me right now.
yeah.
Like you
Okay,
what?
I got something for you. There is a chance that one day he may listen to our podcast. Is there anything you'd like to say to him?
Fuck you. Fuck you, man. Fuck
Okay.
you.
Well, that wasn't
Like,
exactly the redemption arc I was
I
hoping for.
I
Okay.
have no sympathy. You punched me for no reason. I am upset at you. I hope you get better if you are mentally unwell, but F you. Like,
Okay.
what
Okay.
the heck was that?
What if it's someone you already know? They were just in disguise. Huh?
No, you dead.
Who,
I'll find you. If
who do you think might have done it? Hmm. Do you have a
somebody,
list? Like how many people
no,
can you think of
I don't
that
think my
who would
enemy is
maybe
in the
like to
United
punch you?
States.
Okay, okay. Maybe they took a ticket, right? Flew all the way over here.
Oh my god! It reminds me like of a place like like when I was a kid. There was one day like a bigger kid than me, and like like when somebody becomes adolescent and it's not your time yet, like you're not an adolescent, you see them growing up like so big.
Yeah.
So and like you're still smaller, so you like, oh my god, like he's kind of intimidating. And this person, like when I was a kid, like bullied me for some reason, and I cried. And after I
Yeah.
cried, I was like, I'm never gonna cry again. Like I was
Hmm.
burned by like I wanted revenge on
Yeah.
that person so much. And I'm like there was another time, like I think I've told to you, like in high school, there was somebody like we had an argument. I was
Mhm.
wrong. I was surely wrong about it. And this person, like we were in the school bus and essentially grabbed me like by the collar and was like, I'm gonna fight you right now. And essentially I'm like, I don't even care, man. Like, not only am I not gonna fight you, but like you are too beneath me for me to even interact with you. And people were like, oh my god, what are you gonna do, what are you gonna do? And the bus driver like said like, hey, you two stop and think like that. But like that was because like I was like, if I believe I can beat you, I'm not gonna cry to you, like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna beg you. And obviously if I was to replay that scene of that person punching me, I would punch back so bad. Like,
Okay.
had
Okay.
I
Okay.
seen that coming, my punch was in his face. Like, I literally played that and like I play the angle. I'm like, okay, because the punch was a punch, but it
Yeah.
did not knock me out or something. I did not go to the ground. Like, I saw a flash of white for a moment, but I
Yeah.
could still see the person. It's because I was surprised. I was like, what even happened? But
Yeah.
had I seen that
It's not
coming?
every day a random stranger like punches you in the jaw without warning, right?
I know, right? But
You
like, if
know.
it was an expected confrontation, I'm not going down without a fight. Like I'm not gonna
Okay.
let you punch
Okay.
me.
Okay. 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 Hear me out. He punches you. He wants to start running away. Are you gonna chase? Or like,
I am not.
do you really wanna punch
No,
back?
no.
If
Like
there's
because
any
he
heat
ran
there,
away,
you
I
might
did
want to
not.
punch back.
Yeah, like if he was still in front of me, I would have punched him. But if he starts running away, it could be a trap. Like you don't want to chase after. My dad, like literally, when I explained that, he was like, "You are running after a crazy person. Who is crazier now? Look at you
Yeah,
chasing
well,
like,
you know, I mean, that's kind of terrifying.
yeah, like
You
no.
you
If he
you
starts,
punch a dude and run away, and he starts coming after you. Ooh,
yeah, like if he was coming toward me, or if he punched me and he was still there, like I gotta defend myself, and I gotta
yeah,
defend myself is attacking you. Like
yeah, or like find a way to disengage, right?
I'm not even disengaging. I will harm you. I'm not even
Really?
kidding. I am mad at that person.
See, I believe in the fight to disengage, response, right?
Nah, I believe the best
I'm
defense is
sorry,
attack.
because
I
like
am.
you don't know what the guy is packing. He could have a knife right there in his like pants pocket. He
Yeah.
could just
So
pull out,
that's
and
why
immediately you're like that close to death right there. Because
you
obviously
are
he showed
right.
a willingness to fight, right? You fought back, and
Yeah.
so now he's escalating it. I don't
Like I
know.
would say my
Like,
reflex is like to try to put you in a state where you cannot at least chase me.
yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta put you to the ground. Like I yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I have a choice of word right now. I don't want to use on the podcast because it's not gonna
Okay.
age well. I
Well,
could never.
I mean, you're probably
Like,
better than Pedro, who thinks he can fight a cougar. So.
I was literally texting Pedro yesterday. I sent him a.
Yeah,
No, I'm
I
not
want to
even
know what
kidding.
Pedro would do. I really want to know what Pedro would do.
No, maybe I will tell him what happened. But literally,
Yeah,
I sent him a video of UFC, so cage fighting,
yeah,
like a video of someone, like they fight and the end of the round, and like
yeah,
they go sit on the corner and like the doctors got an opportunity to kind of close the wounds before the other round.
yeah,
And this dude was messed up. Like he had an opening
mm,
in his forehead. Like his
yeah.
skin was torn open. And he had like
Oh,
a black eye. Like his eyes were swollen.
and they wear
It was
gloves
swelling.
for that, right?
No, they don't.
Oh,
It's
really?
cage
Is
fight.
it like bare
Yeah.
knuckle? Ouch.
No, they do wear like gloves, but it's more to protect their knuckles, not
Yeah,
protecting the
but
person.
I'm just thinking about like what it takes to like rip the flesh off of someone's forehead
Oh
through
my
a
god,
punch.
dude!
You know,
I've UFC.
because like I could
The
see that being maybe more possible if you're not wearing anything on like your hands, but the fact that these guys have some padding on their hands and they're still ripping the flesh off each other with their punches, it's pretty horrible.
yeah. Oh my god, UFC is like elite human beings. Like I'm literally not even
Yeah,
athletes, human beings. Like the heavyweight champions. The heavyweight champion, his name is Francis Ngannou. I love his story. He's an immigrant. When he was a
yeah.
kid, like he was kind of semi-enslaved in Cameroon, like in a sand mine.
Hmm.
You like he was digging sand, like just putting sand in. You look at his body, it's like the top 1% of the 1% of human being.
Yeah.
And he went cage fighting because that was the only opportunity for him like
Hmm.
to get out of poverty. And he recorded the fastest punch ever recorded, like in UFC, and it was brutal. Like this punch,
Hmm.
like you can see the skull of the person vibrating inside the skin.
Did they record it?
Yes, it was on
Like,
TV.
shoot, I gotta find this now.
Yes, it was hard to like
Dang
this
it.
person went to the ground immediately.
Okay, what's this guy's name?
Francis
Francis.
Ngannou
Oh, yeah, I got
NJA.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, and then record punch.
yeah.
Uh,
So like I
okay,
sent to Pedro this video, right? Of like this person that had like a gap in his forehead and like a
yeah,
swollen eye. And I asked him like, okay, these people get paid like 2 million to fight.
yeah,
Would you fight in a cage for 2 million, but you will look like that? Like you're gonna take that much of like
like
physical
abuse. Yeah.
Yes. And he's like, yeah. And he's telling me all these stories of him like punching people, fighting people.
Huh. Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude is scared. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god. He's telling me like, oh my god, dude, I've been in fight. Like he was like, I've been in fight at U of H, and I don't even want to tell the story. I want him to come on the
Huh.
podcast to tell that story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm
He
like,
should.
you fought somebody at U of H? Like what?
Yeah. I see. I live such a like passive lifestyle. Like I
Like,
make
what
so
would you do if
few I make
somebody
so few enemies, and I feel like I'm such an agreeable, non-aggressive person. Like I don't know how
be a,
someone could be mad at me. I don't know.
somebody punches you for no reason?
Yeah.
What you do? And this person is in front of you. What do you do?
I think my first response is to back away and assess the situation. Assuming that I'm not immediately like, what is happening? If I assuming that I have some senses restored to me, probably the first and most immediate thing I'd do is back away and assess the person who just punched me, right?
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
try to
that's
figure out what
fair.
the heck is going on, right? That's my
Yeah,
first thing. And who is this guy? What did I do? What? Why did he do that? Um,
yeah,
is he gonna do it again? Right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
like I think that's probably the first and most immediate concern is, am I gonna get hit again? And if it looks like I'm gonna get hit again, I'm gonna try to get past that and maybe counterattack. But like I'm not trying to like deck a dude. I'm not looking to deck a dude, you know? Like I don't chase after that. That's not really like an
You-
aspiration of mine, but I mean, if he really, really, really wants to deck me and no one is going to help me out and it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get away from that, of course I'm going to try to punch the guy and fight back. Like, what do you want from me?
I,
I don't.
have
Plus,
you have you
I
ever
don't know
fought?
how that's going to turn out. Like, I am not prideful enough to say that I can deck any man. Like
Yeah, no, you can't.
I know that there are plenty of dudes that could totally thrash me in any kind of
Yeah,
fight. You know,
yeah.
but
Oh my
one
god,
one
yeah.
thing I think, like, if I've got anything going for me, I think it's like I think I'm fairly maneuverable. Like
Oh, squeak.
yeah, and I have good reach too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know, good reach, and I can dodge things okay. So
Have
maybe
you
that
been
won't
in a
work.
fight before?
Nope. Yeah, it'll be just a total roll of the dice first time it happens. But
I haven't been in a fight. I've been uh yeah, I've definitely been like completely massacred by a group of people. Like three people.
why?
Did I
What?
tell that story?
Okay, did you deserve it?
No. I got
No.
trapped. I got
Mm,
I got I don't know, like I got cheated on. Like it was
yeah.
me and my friend, we were kids, like around 10, 11,
Okay.
maybe 11.
That's a
And
different
like
kind of fight, but yeah.
but like we see this group of like they were bigger dude than us and like they were playing a game, some type of games.
Mm,
And it was at our school, like Catholic school.
yeah.
Like nobody was like in that hallway at that time. So like they're playing some type of games. And we come and we are like, hey, we want to play with you. And they are like, okay, so these are the rule of the game. And if you lose, we gotta beat you up until you run and touch a kind of checkpoint. And we are dumb kid and we are like, oh, I feel like I can win that game. And we play the game. It doesn't take two
Mm.
minutes. And I lose. And when I lose, I start running for the checkpoint they indicated, and one of them like literally crosses like my leg, like he literally, and I fall to the ground, and these three dudes like start like beating the fuck out of me,
All right. Let
and
this
like
be a
my friend,
warning. Let this be a warning to our listeners for contractual agreements in which the stakes are far too high.
My friend who is watching, who is such a good friend, like he was watching it, he ran and like there was a trash right beside us, and he took like
Yeah.
the lid of the trash and came in the middle of them, like and used it as a shield. And essentially, we get out of like the middle of them and start running for our lives, and they start chasing us.
Hmm.
Like so, like we went to the second floor of the school. We ran, we went downstairs, and we came back. We literally did a lap so that we could run in one of the classroom and hide behind like a table, and like they couldn't find us anymore.
Hmm.
I think, and I only remember that clearly because I remember like getting beaten by a bunch of dudes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, the good news is that it happened when you were 10 years old. So I think maybe the
Well, at
power
least the
level
good
and
news.
and it happened in a school, so the power and danger level is kind of lower, right? Like it's unlikely that someone's going to pull a knife out on you or a gun,
Yeah, yeah.
but
But yeah, they were not pulling their
yeah,
punches though. They were
yeah.
using their
I
feet.
worry about Pedro though. I do worry about Pedro though if he's consistently getting into fights these days at this age. Yeah. And like,
Yes.
okay,
What?
here's what I want to know. Over what? Like, what?
Yeah, like I
What
hope
is a
those were
fight
good
that is
reasons.
worth having to Pedro? You know,
Yeah, I
like,
hope you weren't just getting upset at somebody at the line and
yeah,
started fighting. I hope you were
I
trying
do
to.
understand. Like, I know Pedro is kind of a disagreeable man to many people.
Hot
So
boy. Very.
I wouldn't be surprised if he like made someone upset and he didn't feel like they were justified in feeling upset. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see it happening. I mean, I
yeah,
want to know the
yeah,
reasons, obviously. How did you get into a fight? Like, no, beside that, as I said, I got close to
yeah,
getting to fights, but like it was separated before like it happened. Or like,
yeah,
I was telling the story in high school, like when somebody was like, oh, I'm going to like beat you up like after school. And I told him like, I mean, obviously you jacked up and like you could probably do that, but don't
yeah,
think I'm gonna respect you for that. Like I just don't respect you. Like I genuinely do not respect you. And the person did not do anything after school.
yeah,
But I got in fight with my brother, but those were like fake fighting that ended up on somebody being injured.
yeah,
Like very bad injuries.
yeah. Here's the thing, like, as far as I'm concerned, people can think whatever they want about me. I know how I feel about me. And if they don't like me, then they don't have to be around me. And I don't have to be around them. There are 7 billion other people I can be around, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
No, I
there are a lot of fights that I could not care less about getting involved in, because as far as I'm concerned, there are a few rewards to actually uh, getting in some kind of physical confrontation with somebody, and a whole
that's so
lot
true.
of potential disadvantages to getting involved
Yeah.
in a physical confrontation with someone, right? So,
No, I agree. Like I'm
I'm
23. I
trying
don't
to
want.
mind my own, trying to be left alone.
Yeah.
If someone comes at
Like
me, I mean, it
okay.
depends on how much they come at me. I'm a slow burner. I'm slow to anger, as it says in Ye Olden Bible. Um,
No,
I don't
I
know.
definitely think
Hey,
it's bad to get punched. Like your
don't
head is
hate
not
me,
supposed to
right?
be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I'm 23. I know I'm young, but I'm too old to have my head punched several times. It's not
yeah,
good for your brain. You see people doing football. Like you don't want a concussion. You don't want to
yeah.
fall on the floor the wrong way.
Like,
Your head
you
hits the
know,
floor.
I've made it 20 years already. I think I deserve the rest. You know,
Yeah.
like, come
Yeah.
on.
So like yeah, obviously I hope I do not have to physically fight somebody in this lifetime.
Yeah,
But getting punched by a random person really put things into perspective for me. I was like, oh, so this thing can just happen.
Yeah.
Like you can be in a place and like in a matter of seconds, it's chaos. like,
Yeah.
like, like I'm like we all like I walk outside with some sense of stability. Like I'm like like if it was
Yeah.
in the dark, if it was 2 a.m. me walking, 2 a.m. in a sketchy neighborhood and somebody punched me, I will rationalize it. I'll be like, yeah, it's supposed to happen. Like that's what happened when you walk at night. But that was broad
Yeah. Like
daylight, people
in
around.
public with lots of people. Yeah.
Yes, I
Which
was not.
again, kind of a blessing, right? Because even if the guy did decide to continue beating the crap out of you, there's all kinds of people who would stop, right? They stopped as
God,
soon
you
as the
pray
guy
for that.
decked you in the first place, right? So
Yeah,
nice.
people act weird when they are in crowd. Sometimes they will do that. Sometimes they will just run for their lives and not intervene or just call 911.
Yeah,
I but definitely like it was like, oh my god, I really did not expect that to happen at that specific time and place, and like and it did. So now I'm like, oh, so I gotta
yeah. Now you have to watch out for that, I guess, right? Like, how
yeah,
do you
like
go
I'm like, do
outside
I
again and feel normal, right?
like like I'm like, do I have to be continuously on edge all the time?
Yeah.
Like when I
Here's the
go
thing.
into a
I think you can't really be like that. I mean, I think okay. I think you can try to be like that, where it's like I will never be caught off guard ever again. But that isn't a very good way to live. And preparing for that like once in a million disaster moment, I think there's only so much you can do. You know,
yeah,
so and like again, when I say disaster moment, it's like okay, you got punched once, not exactly a disaster moment, but what I mean by that is it could have been a disaster moment very easily. Like again, it could have been a knife in your chest. You wouldn't have even had a
yeah.
chance to respond if that was the case, you know.
I had no chance
Actually,
to respond.
it's
I
pretty
was caught off
amazing
guard.
um how many opportunities you have to actually kill people, and the only thing that stops some people is the threat of repercussions, right? Like
Yeah,
like here's the thing: if I had a knife in my hand all the time, or just one of my box cutters from like studio, I would have had a billion and one chances to kill you, Cadmiel. Right?
yeah. No, definitely.
Without any chance for you to do anything in response. But like there are a couple things that keep me from doing that. Number one, I have no reason to. Number two,
You are
that's really
not
horrible.
crazy.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in like killing a person.
You
Exactly.
are mentally sane.
Yeah, there are some mental blockers there. Um,
Yes,
and
I feel like you are
here's the
born with
thing:
these blockers.
even if I didn't have those blockers, the third threat is just like the public. Like obviously, other people are going to take issue with the idea of me shoving a box cutter through your chest. So, um,
See, like
I have to deal with repercussions if I were to do something like that, right? Or vice
yeah,
versa. If you tried to kill me, there are lots of people who would be very upset, I think.
no, but I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or something, but I feel like the blockers are the main reason somebody doesn't do something.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I have imagined countless horrible things. Like I have imagined myself doing countless horrible things. I have imagined what I don't want to tell what I imagined when I came into that room, that dirty room, and heard those animals like laughing in the room. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna tell you what I was thinking of doing, but you know.
yeah,
I have these blockers. So obviously, like
yeah. Or
from
like,
from this to go from my head to like reality.
yeah, your threats are very empty, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, do you really have the guts to like kill a dude and live with it? Not really,
No.
especially over something
No.
so petty. Like, you need a reason more often than not.
Yeah. Yeah, you take a lot. Like that's why we also talked about like what it takes like for the people that go actually and kill people. Like what actually happened in their head is like there is no fear of repercussion anymore. There is like everything
Yeah,
has been broken down, and
yeah.
like
I do think repercussion is like the last bulwark against someone actually doing something like that.
I think it's in the middle. I don't think it's the last. I feel like somebody that
Mm,
like I feel like we are all afraid of repercussion,
mm.
but
Well, I don't
some
know.
people are not. I would say some people are not. I've
Yeah.
met some
Well,
people that are like, they looked at me like I met some fathers and they were like, if I ever heard that something happened to my daughter, I will kill the person.
yeah.
There is no fear of repercussion.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the
Okay.
repercussion is big. Like
Yeah.
it's losing your livelihood. Like, but it's even when this happened, I don't think the fear of repercussion is the last resort. It's that I don't know how to describe it. Like it's like going against something that's hardwired in your brain. Because
Mm.
I don't think humans have that
Oh,
in them.
you know what I think it is? I think
What?
it's like empathy for the other human, or like getting over the idea that the person you are trying to kill is like you, you
Yes,
know?
yes,
Or like there's any shred of humanity in this person, or hope that they could do something substantial or positive still in their life. You know, you have to get
yeah,
over the idea that they're anything more than an animal. You know?
yeah. Like it's disconnection. It's like
Yeah.
it's that last limit of like, if this is not human, like
Yeah.
the other person in front of me is not a human being and they deserve what is about to happen to them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the last limit. Like, and when somebody crosses that, well, I mean, I've watched documentaries on Netflix about sociopath. They don't have that. It's like Ted Bundy when he got arrested and
Hmm.
they interviewed him, which is kind of crazy. But you see like in his language, like I really do not care about killing somebody.
Hmm.
Like this is as simple as drinking milk. Like it is just so simple for
Yeah.
me to do that. And you're like, most people are just not like that. And
Yeah.
for even a person like Ted Bundy was one of the worst to ever exist. But for somebody to get to that state, it takes like some breaking down of the brain.
Hmm.
And in a sense, like I feel like soldiers is partly what happened to them. Like you get brainwashed into like killing on order, like on the spot, because that's
Hmm.
not something even a normal person would do that. Like there was a real statistic about World War II, right? I don't know if I learned that from you or like from a podcast,
Uh-huh.
but like during World War II, no, I learned that in a documentary. It
Okay.
was actually a fictional series, but I think they used like real statistic. Like
Eh,
during World War,
be very very careful about that. But I'll
it
hear
was
you
black.
out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, World War II, but you can verify it. You are the expert at it. But it was that people were hesitating to shoot the weapon. And there was a big percentage of soldiers during World War II that would not fire the
Mm,
weapon when they were firing, when we were supposed to
yeah.
fire. And
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of these soldiers were inexperimented, like for one. Like,
Mhm.
they were taken young and like it was war, they were drafted quickly, given like minimal training and sent into like the most horrible human experience to ever happen. Even under the fear of imminent death, it was still hard for them to point at a human being and shoot them
Yeah.
because these limits, these barrier in their brain were not broken yet.
Yeah. For the record, I think I've heard of that before, and I don't think it's a Second World War study or statistic or whatever. Um,
Okay.
I don't entirely remember what it was from, but I do believe it was an earlier study from back when there were like line infantry, right?
Oh, okay.
But I think something else you need to consider, just if we're talking about like 20th and 21st century soldiers, is this idea of how firearms have kind of changed uh, the nature of infantry combat, but also just any kind of like the slow increase of range between combatants, and how that has an effect of making the killing impersonal, right?
Yeah,
Um, Also, like I would say, with a lot of recent conflicts, at least some of the larger ones, um, most soldiers don't really come face to face with the person they're killing. Usually it
that's
is
right.
at distance, and so they just kind of look like an object in your sight, if anything at all. Um, Definitely, a lot of countries in the modern era have a kind of doctrine of overwhelming firepower, which is basically even if you can't see the target, if you know vaguely where they're at, just start shooting that way. And what that does, the idea is that you're trying to suppress your opponent, or like if there's another infantry squad out there, you want to pin them down and keep them from moving. And so that's why you're shooting in their general area, even if you're not hitting them, because that will make them not want to get up and move, or like that will keep them from moving, and that will allow you to close the distance and actually get any kind of killing shots in, or close the distance so that you can deliver something more uh, indirect but lethal, like a hand grenade, right?
Yeah.
Or even better, in the case of the United States, when we often have air superiority, you just bomb the crap out of the place,
Yeah, you send
like
drones.
pin them down until air support can just totally level the building, or whatever
Oh man,
whatever the kind
planes
of
really.
cover is, right?
Yeah,
So
like shitty.
especially the United States was the country that really introduced this idea of like mass firepower, which facilitates maneuver in the infantry squad. But I
Yeah,
mean, that
yeah,
my whole point in bringing that up is just that like modern techniques of warfare are much more impersonal than they used to be,
I agree.
even in the 1800s with the advent of firearms, or earlier than that. Um, like
Yeah.
just
So like you
things
don't
are
need to break.
getting you're getting further and further away from your opponent. You don't see them anymore. Or like the idea of
Yeah,
nuclear war. It's like, what's the problem with nuking a city? It's just people in there.
yeah.
But then you start to learn who the people actually are, and it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do
Oh,
this, right?
yeah.
Or like
Like you
it
remember.
starts to get a lot harder to push that button when you get to meet every single person in that city of 180,000, right?
Yeah, but that's like what this barrier again. Like you, like during like the Cold War, wasn't there a time where like Russia almost fired a nuke to the US because they thought like the US had launched nuke on
Yeah.
them? And it
Uh-huh.
happened to be like some mistakes like in the satellite, like they were miscalculating
Yeah.
thing. But there were like it was literally up to one person to make the
Yeah.
call or make some maneuver, and Russia would have
Yeah.
launched nuke in the
See,
United States direction.
this is the problem with my military knowledge, is that I always know what you're talking about, but I don't know who's involved exactly, or when it happened exactly, or what any of the details are. I just know where to find it.
Yeah,
Like
like I saw a
90
whole documentary.
percent of the time, that is my knowledge of military things.
Yeah,
Um,
I watched a video on
the,
that specific person, and he
yeah,
got like fired by the Russian army because like they thought of him as a coward, but like he kind of saved the world because like
yeah,
for some 9 minutes, literally in their office, they were under the impression that the United States had launched nukes toward
yeah,
like Russia, and those missiles were coming, and he was literally like, if I make that call or if I do that, I push that button, Russia will launch nukes to the US.
yeah,
And he did not. Like he waited until the last second, until like they were supposed to be dead by now, and like all of a sudden they received the message that, oh, it's a mistake. Like all satellites like saw like some reflections and thought they were nukes.
Ooh. Yeah, hang
And
on. I found the incident. It's 26th of September 1983 with Stanislav Petrov. I believe he was the guy who actually uh, stopped the order to launch nukes. Hang on, let me figure this out. Shortly after midnight, the bunker's computers reported that one intercontinental ballistic missile was heading towards the Soviet Union from the United States. Petrov considered the detection a computer error, since the first strike nuclear attack by the US was likely to involve hundreds, not just one missile, which makes sense. Um, and then the reliability of the satellite system had been questioned, but it was implemented anyways. Um, let's see. Petrov dismissed the warning. He didn't necessarily notify his superiors about it. Let's see. Yeah, and then they confirmed that no a missile actually arrived when it was supposed to, which basically confirmed his suspicions that it was nothing to worry about. But that's a very dangerous thing to do because it's like, okay,
oh
what
yeah,
if the United States did fire one missile and then a couple minutes later they fire everything? The Soviet Union is not going to have time to really do the same, right?
yes.
I
And
don't
like
know.
they were describing again, like this was not like, I mean, maybe the reading makes it looks like, oh, it's a mistake, we're not gonna do anything. But it was like stressful. Like they were like, what if we are
Yeah,
actually under attack? Like, and during the Cold War, that was like a realistic scenario
yeah.
that the US might literally just go to war with the Soviet Union at some point.
There was another incident during the Cuban Missile Crisis where a Soviet submarine got depth charged because it was violating, I believe, a blockade that was in place at the time. Hang on. Let me
Yeah,
find
but
the
like
actual thing.
to come to
But
the point, like I truly do think that this person at that specific time, like, could not again cross this barrier of like, I'm gonna launch a missile that will potentially harm thousands or even millions of people. Like, if I do that, like, oh my god. And same for the dude like that developed the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer. He created it, and then when it got detonated, it was like, holy crap, what did I
yeah,
just do?
okay, I found it. Vasily Arkhipov. So he was a Soviet Navy officer on the Soviet nuclear submarine, and he is credited with preventing a Soviet nuclear launch during the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is this submarine, because they're being depth charged, basically believed that full scale war had happened between Russia and the United States, and so they were like that close to ordering the firing of all their nuclear arsenal on the ship.
This is, they
Which,
are fucking crazy.
but
Like,
but
why was it? Can you imagine? Like, why was it their first reflex to be like,
yeah,
let's just nuke the place? Like, that's why I'm so scared about a third world
yeah,
war. Like, because they are not even going to be like, oh, let's fire like a bayonet or like something. They're just gonna press the button and be like, let's level the place.
hang on. I want to double check if this is a Cuban Missile Crisis thing. Do, 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 do. Okay, yeah, it was a Cuban Missile Crisis thing. October 27th, 1962. It's called the B-59 incident. Very bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Do you think like there is a likelihood that we're gonna see a third world war in our lifetime?
We have the nukes. We have a lot of time. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think people are going to forget about Adolf Hitler that fast?
Um, we have the history. We have a lot of time. I
Yeah,
don't
like
know. Like,
it's still fascinating to me that some people still exist that have, like Queen Elizabeth, like the Queen of England. Like again, she was 6 years old and she saw Adolf Hitler. like flesh and bones, like not Adolf
Hmm.
Hitler, like the dudes in the videos that we
Yeah.
see all the time. She literally met like a real person, like a real deal,
Hmm.
and he caused so much like genocide, like almost he was that close to
Okay.
eradicate the Jews.
Here's the thing. Adolf Hitler is bad. Everyone recognizes that. He's not the first bad person on that scale we have had, and is probably not the last bad person we're gonna have on that scale. And that's all I gotta say about that. Right?
Yeah,
Like
I think the
we have
worst
like
was
Stalin. I would say Stalin is worse than Hitler. I would say Mao
yeah,
is
he
worse than
probably was.
Stalin. No, it's not. He
And
probably was. He was flat out. Like they killed more
I
people in
mean, like
Stalin's camps.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
like
yeah,
there's no questioning it. Stalin is a worse person than Hitler. You know, everyone just focuses on Hitler because we got to make the Soviets look good, and the whole World War II was a good war narrative. You know,
yeah.
like
Oh yeah,
the
Stalin
the
wasn't
bottom
pretty bad.
line is that the USSR was probably worse than Nazi Germany on a variety of levels. Like
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
that
yeah.
that's like disagree with me if you want, but at
No,
least go do your
I won't.
homework. You know,
To me, I
like
would say like the worst person
I'm
to
not
ever
saying
exist
that to
was
you. I'm saying that to like
yeah.
whoever might be listening. You know, like
Like
go
to me,
check
the
the
worst
numbers,
human that
man.
ever exists was Genghis Khan
Yeah, you
because
have Genghis Khan. You know, like there's all
he
kinds of
killed
horrible people.
unfathomable amount of like he killed 11% of a human being on
Like the
Earth.
human population. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is so like unimaginable that so many people would die at the end of like this man's order, and it
Yeah.
literally happened. And like you listen like to description, like people like writing letters about like an attack of Genghis Khan's army,
Hmm.
like what would happen, and it's like World War II was bad. It was one of the, but like you listen to you hear that letter and you like that cannot be real. Like
Okay.
this
I
is
mean,
apocalyptic. Like Genghis Khan coming to kill your city is like an apocalyptical event.
listen, I have something that I think can parallel that, but it occurs to me that the podcast is getting exceedingly morbid, and
Yeah.
we'd probably pump the brakes a touch and maybe change the subject.
Yeah, we went
And
from
and
getting
also
punched in the street.
and
Nick, we
also we,
literally went from getting punched to the streets to like Genghis Khan attacking a
yes,
city.
well, and we are well outside of our expertise. Okay,
We are.
like let's be honest, let's be real. We're just two
Yeah.
Joe
But we were
Schmoes talking about the only atrocities we know. So,
we but we wearing
I
sunglasses. We are
mean,
obviously intelligent.
no, we're not. We're exceedingly stupid, and the sunglasses
No.
hide the emptiness in our eyes.
Glasses increase your intelligence by 10 points.
Mm, yeah, your
That's
charisma
what
points have been upped by 2.
yes, like
Congratulations.
obviously our brains got bigger when we wore sunglasses, so people should
Uh,
trust everything we say and not research anything about what we say.
mm. What did you do Friday, Cadmiel? Do you remember?
I got informed that I had to move out to a unit.
Oh,
Uh,
right. Okay. What about Tuesday?
uh,
Tuesday was a
Tuesday,
while ago.
wow, yes, but I take pictures every day. If I look at my pictures,
Oh,
I could probably
helps, yeah.
remember what I did on Tuesday. So
Mhm.
let me look at my pictures real quick.
Okay.
What
This is
happened
me
Tuesday?
attempting desperately to change the subject.
Tuesday, I watched a podcast. Yes, I think I was on campus on that day.
Ah,
Yeah.
what were you doing on
Tuesday
campus?
usually is like the day. Okay, like we have been doing Welcome Day.
Yeah.
So Welcome Day is coming for the freshmen, and like we are raising money for it, and we have raised a lot of money, which is a good thing because like like this year a lot of great leader graduated, and a
Yeah,
lot of new faces are in leadership positions.
like you.
And Yeah. And for a moment, I mean, me personally, I was like, how do you walk into these shoes? Like, welcome day would be kind of like a way, at least to me, it was like kind of a way to prove that, hey, we have a deal. Like, don't worry. Like, obviously, we, like, Anne Elizabeth has graduated, like, Nick Jones and like all these other great people have graduated. But guess what? We got this. And
Yeah, big shoes to fill, pal. Good luck.
yes, I am happy that we raised more money than for the latest welcome day, like the previous one. That's one thing I'm happy about. But
Yeah.
it's also a lot of stress because we're going into August, and we my group, like Stuco, we have to make a video. And yeah, it's a lot of
Mm.
stress because it's gonna be shown to the students.
Okay, when did
And
you get assigned the video, and when is it due?
a month ago, and we're starting to make
Okay.
it on the 5th of August, I believe. Yeah.
It's wait, you
So
started making it on the 5th?
we will start making it on the 5th of
Oh,
August.
okay. That's my
It
birthday.
needs to. Oh,
Yeah.
what are you planning?
Let's see. Nothing. I believe the plan is that I will hang out with my mom and dad a little bit with my sisters, and that's about it. I don't know. I don't even know if we're doing that August 5th, but I know that's my family celebration plans. How I usually like to spend my birthdays is with like one or two of my friends in a very casual way. Like we go skateboarding or something, you know?
I
That
forgot
makes
you
me happy.
skateboarded.
I like to do it low key, you know?
I forgot you really skateboard. Like that's.
Sometimes, yeah, right? Okay,
That,
I don't skateboard. I have a cruiser, which is like a hybrid between a longboard and a skateboard. You know, sort of.
that sounds
You
like.
can think of it that way. It's got like big old tires, bigger than a skateboard, so it can go over like rocks and bumps and stuff better. Um, it's shaped like the deck is shaped kind of like a skateboard. It's flat on the nose, but it's got a little ramp in the rear, so you can kick it upwards.
Oh,
But very maneuverable. A shorter wheelbase than a longboard. That's
yeah.
what I got. Actually, I think I
I see.
got it in here. Give me a minute.
Yeah. So. Oh my God, guys. Yeah. Sorry for the tangent on like getting punched at a flight to like literally Genghis Khan. Like,
Where did
what
I
the
put
heck is wrong
that?
with us here? Like, hopefully you have a great day. Like I hope you all are not getting
Okay, I'm
punched.
back. I don't know where I put it. All I know is that I have it. It's either
Okay.
here or at the apartment. I'm not sure
Yeah,
which, but yeah.
it's kind of weird looking at like we have like the meeting with the org leaders. And like for example, Marina is will be the chair of SITSA this semester. I
Oh
mean this year.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Weird.
like, it kind of brings me back to Studio 101, like when we were freshmen.
Mm,
Like she was in our
yeah.
class, right?
Yeah.
And like
She
how
was.
young looking we were.
You know,
And
Cadmiel,
that's what?
I would be lying if I said I wasn't glad that I can detach from everything that reminds me of uh, freshman, sophomore, junior year, maybe. Maybe junior
Yeah.
year. Like, I like a
It
lot of the
seems like a
people in our
dream.
studio. I like a lot of the people in our studio, but I'm in another way. I'm kind of. I really don't mean this in a bad way. But it's like I'm kind of glad that I get to integrate with the studio below us because
Oh, really?
for it'll feel to me like something completely different, and I think I need that just to like totally leave
Yeah.
any semblance of the life I was leading up to that point. You know, like I look forward to integrating with like Khan and uh you know um
May,
yeah,
Mariana.
May's great, you know.
Uh,
Very
yeah,
like
yeah, I know.
very reasonable, fun people, it seems. Schumann, right?
Yeah, Schumann,
Yeah.
Carsten.
Yeah.
Man, like studio first semester seems like a dream now. I'm like, did I dream the whole thing? Sometimes I'm like, it was
Oh.
so insane that sometimes I'm like,
Mm.
was this even real? Like, I cannot
Uh-huh.
believe I'm at the last year of this. Like,
Huh.
everything was a dream. Like,
Yeah.
I think about college and I'm like, did I dream about that experience? Because
I'll tell you, some of my best days in Houston were spent driving. Like
yeah,
the single best days I've ever had in Houston were spent just cruising around on highways and just going places. Like whether it be to like a hardware store or like a movie or whatever. Like
yeah,
I I think it kind of reminds me of like what I really hoped for when I got there, you know. And
yeah.
I got some of what I hoped for, and definitely like I actually like driving in Houston more than Dallas or any other place I've been to, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and like the traffic jams can be bad. That's okay, actually. For me, it's sort of part of the experience. But yeah, I don't
No,
know. Like
no,
that was probably the best part of my college experience was driving. I would say,
yeah.
you know.
I like our drivings. Like we had so many good discussions.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to come along for a lot of them too. You know.
Yeah, like I remember like driving around was how we became friends.
Yeah, yeah. Necessity,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think to me the best time of studio was Austin. Like that was the first time
Hmm.
in all of the program that I genuinely remember resting. Like
Yeah.
having a like being in a state where I was like, is this everything I had hoped to be my life? Like that was the life
Yeah.
I had hoped to.
Like it reminds you of how big America is.
Yes.
How many different places there are in the US that aren't Houston, right?
I'm like, oh my god, my life doesn't have to be that way. Like I was so narrowed on focus on studio. I was like, this is gonna be my life forever. And
Yeah.
I experienced, at least my experience in Austin was great. And I was like, oh, so where is this? Like, this is having fun. This is like, hanging out with friends and talking in a hotel at 2 a.m. And like,
Yeah. I remember
like
when I think you were there, we sat down and like I think it was me, you,
Ivan and
Samuel and
Samuel.
Ivan. Yeah, we sat in like a hotel and we're just
Yeah,
talking. That was like the first time during that experience that I had a good like social experience.
me too.
Like
Like I think
that
about
was
it and I'm like,
just so great. Sidebar, we need
I was,
Ivan on the podcast. Can we get Ivan on?
yeah, okay,
I
yeah.
love that
I'll
guy.
invite him. Yeah.
Yay! All right.
But I remember like I was experiencing happiness. Like
Yeah,
I was like, this is what's life about. Like I was
yeah,
like thinking of like for the first time, I'm like, all my ambitions, all my dreams. I'm like, oh, I'm in the present right now. And
yeah,
I'm enjoying what's happening. Like us walking around, I'm like, I was so in the present and enjoying my time. Like being in studio was always focused on the future. Like I could never enjoy the present, and the present was quite
yes,
miserable.
yes. The
And like,
present was kind of rough, you know.
yeah,
Everyone's kind of in their own like. I would look up from my studio work sometimes and just look around the room, and everyone is in their own like compartmentalized world where it's like
yeah,
every single person in the studio is focused on their individual project and they are frantic, you know.
yeah,
And it's like you look up expecting to like see someone else make eye contact with you who's like also looking around the room. Nobody,
yeah.
you know.
Nobody.
Like Everyone
Yeah,
is doing their own thing. Which
I
I want,
agree.
like, I don't know how the studio below us doesn't seem to do that,
They
but
do.
I mean, yeah, but like,
They are tighter
what
than
is
us.
that we
Okay,
don't, Cadmiel? Tell me.
like
I have to know.
they are they are closer to each other than us.
Hmm.
But I feel like the more we I feel like that could have been us if the pandemic did not happen. But
Yeah,
also
yeah. The pandemic
like
really threw a wrench and stuff.
I mean, I was kind of talking to Anna Elizabeth about it. Like, she obviously feels close to like her studio mate, but it's more like the more the year went, the more like individualistic, like the more like you see the groups of people forming. And
Yeah,
like when it gets to to last year, people start thinking about what's ahead of me.
yeah,
Like I feel like the more like when you are in the program, like second year, like the sophomore right now, they are such a tight group. I was hanging out with them all the time. They cook in the studio, like
whoa,
meals,
hmm.
and they serve to each other. It was insane. I was looking at them, I'm like, oh my
Like,
god.
what is this quality of life?
Yes.
What the
But at
heck?
the same time, like you see the stress kind of piling up, and I'm like I was telling them, like, oh my god, I'm so afraid for you that you're gonna get to third year and not do that anymore.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Because
See,
be,
okay, here's the thing. I think if they're doing it now in sophomore year, they're gonna be fine junior year. Because sophomore year is like the murderer. That'll kill you. At least in the UHID program, like I talked to some of the seniors who went through, and they said sophomore year was the hardest for them. So I've met some
yeah,
people who said junior year was the hardest, but
junior
mm,
year was hard.
I
First semester was hard, but last semester I had it. Honestly, I was like, I just know the drill.
I mean,
Like it's like
I
it's
felt
like
like I
going
was
to
doing
a
great junior year. Like I was
like
thriving junior year.
first semester was hard. I feel like the second semester it was like going to the same haunted house for the ninth time. You know where the
Yeah,
clown is going to pop on. You know already the trick.
yeah, yeah,
You walk you walk in it and you're like, oh my god, I'm scared, but it's less scary now.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was kind of me junior year,
Or
but
like you
like
can start to punch back when the clown punches you.
yeah, right. Like I started
As
saying
he
no to
punches.
some suggestions of my
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah,
I just
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. More independence for Cadmiel.
like no. He was like, yeah, if you do go back to solid work, and I'm like, dude, it's due in 2 days. I'm not gonna go back in solid work and go back in Keyshot and do the animations again. It's insane.
Oh,
Just yeah.
so I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. I literally
I'm
put the
listen.
sunglasses down.
I'm derailing the entire podcast here, but my sunglasses are polarized, so if I tilt my head like that, maybe 45 degrees, uh, my screen goes dark. Like I can't see what's on
Oh,
the screen at all. If I
that
tilt
is
it this way, I can
crazy.
see. If I tilt it that way, I can't see anything. Yeah. Do you
I
have
feel like
polarized
mine did.
glasses?
Yeah, like
Like,
everything. It had mine are blue. Like they had a shade of blue to protect you from the sun. So
yeah,
like it's weird when I look at screens and stuff
yeah, but like,
because
do you have do they have a polarized coat where like when you tilt it, it blots things out? Do you know what I'm
no,
talking
I think
about?
the whole thing is polarized. Like things are darker right now.
Okay.
Like it's
No,
a whole thing.
no, no,
It's
no.
not like shades. It's more like
Hang on.
everything is just
Okay.
darker.
Trust me on this. Look this up later. Um, like polarized lenses and what they do to like LED screens. Because what?
Yes,
Yeah.
my screen is like my smartphone screens is weird. That's something I like, but yeah,
Okay.
I
I
don't understand
yeah.
what's happening, but it looks different.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
Sorry,
Do we want to
total
end that
derailing.
here?
Yeah, sure, we can end it now if you want.
That was
I'm
the
good for
emergency
as long
episode.
as you want to go.
All right, people, stay humble. And yeah.
Yeah, stay humble. Have a
All
good week.
right.
Bye bye.